Here. So let's get going. I'm super excited because today we are going to learn about um, clutter. This is so exciting. So I always work on something that I myself need to fix. And so today or this week, my house, I could show you around, but I don't even want to admit it. My house looks even worse than that picture. It is just piles and piles of clutter. So I'm reading the book, a couple of different books about feng shui and clutter. And I know this is really true, but I have two small children, got a full-time job. Like, we're super crazy in this house. So I have a lot of, look at all the books behind me. So I have a lot of excuses about clutter, but the reality is that they're just excuses. So let's get on with it and let's figure this out. And then I'm going to commit to you that I'm scheduling. Look, just saying I'm going to do it is not enough. I'm going to schedule the time to make sure that all this clutter finds a place or goes away. Okay, well, I'm not streaming on Facebook, but that's all right. We'll figure that out later. So let's go on to the next piece. Clutter is anything that doesn't belong in a space, whether because it belongs somewhere else in your home or it doesn't belong in your home any longer. Look, one thing we're really going to talk about today is the stuff, just too much stuff. Like, we all know about the clutter that belongs somewhere else, but really a lot of this clutter is about the stuff you just don't need anymore. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into that because you know where to put your keys and where to put your glasses and where to put your books, or you can find a place if you really, but let's talk about whether you really even need all those books or you need all those clothes or you need all that stuff, okay? Let's keep going. So first of all, the negative effects of clutter, okay? Let's talk about those. Do you even know what they are? I'm just making sure it's still working on Instagram. Do you even know what the negative effects of clutter are? Hold on. Okay, high risk of injury. Obviously, if you've got a bunch of crap around the house, you're going to fall. It can attract rodents and pests. Okay, please don't have clutter of food. But a lot of people do. And again, it's not a judgment because there's a reason that you have it. Let's get to the bottom of the reason. Let's not just keep making excuses. Respiratory problems, dust. You can't even get a cleaner in, even if you wanted a cleaner, because there's too much dust and they can't clean it up. Increased cortisol levels. You know what that is? That's stress. We have too much stress because we have too much stuff. So how do we reduce our stress? Get rid of the stuff and meditate. You know, I'm always going to tell you to do that. Oops. Short temper. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to get mad. Increased weight gain. So increased cortisol causes increased weight gain. And that is what happens if you have too much stuff around you, okay? So stop having too much stuff. But shorter temper, don't you find that when you have all this stuff around, you become grumpier? It causes fights, oh my gosh, between kids and adults and parents, husbands and wives, roommates. It causes fights. Like, what's that doing there? Why can't it be somewhere else? Why can't you move it? Weren't you supposed to move it yesterday? You said you were going to move it. Why isn't it moved? Oh my gosh. It's distracting, which again, spoiler alert, is it distracting? Do you keep it because it's distracting? I have someone I love very much in my life who keeps a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of chaos, and she never has time to get rid of it because it's distracting her from what she doesn't really want to think about. And it's an energy block. We talk a lot about energy, and our thoughts are energy, our words are energy, our stuff is energy, our home is energy. How we have all this stuff around us is either going to block or open up the space. And you know what you want? You want good energy. And well, you know what clutter is? It's bad energy. So you want to move it because you want to make space for good energy to come in and out. There's a financial cost to clutter. How many times do you find something or you don't find something, or you find it late and it's a past due bill, or you have to register for something and now there's a late fee because you couldn't find it? It is really likely that if you're unorganized in your house, you're probably unorganized in your finances. And I'm going to give you a little, by the way, my husband does financial coaching for really, really cheap because he just does it for fun. And so if you want somebody who can help you with your finances and you don't want to spend a lot of money because you don't think you have a lot of money, but by the way, that's all energy and thought process, he's going to help you create more abundance in your life. But just a little shout out from my husband because it is so important to be organized with your finances. If your finances are cluttered or you're distracted from them, you don't want to think about them, that's not healthy. And by the way, if you know your finances and they're clean and they're not cluttered, you are more likely to attract more. I promise you, that is a fact. So clutter on the outside is reflective of clutter on the inside. The key is to determine what is the clutter representing on the inside. Obviously, I can't go into a whole lot of therapy sessions right now. I certainly can offline. But the thing is that what are you trying to distract yourself from? Why are you doing this? Why do you have so much stuff? Why are you buying more stuff when you can't even keep track or organize the stuff that you have? Like, I'm really bad at my closet. Well, I have been, but I do a really good job now of keeping it clean. But I would buy the same things, the same black t-shirt, the same black turtleneck, just because I couldn't find the one that I thought that I had, but I must have gotten rid of it, but then I find it later in the pajama drawer. So keep track of the stuff that you have, and then you won't need to buy more stuff. Clutter can represent living in the past, and it represents the lack of being present now. So all those boxes and boxes and boxes of family photos that you have, what is that? And are you keeping old albums that you don't even want, or they're from family members that you don't even know, you just inherited them? Like, do they bring you joy? Oops, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about that later. But anyway, it really is important. Like, are you living in the past? Do you not want to clean up the past? Is the past messy? Again, these are just little nuggets. In half an hour, I just want to give you little nuggets that just spark your curiosity and make you think twice about what's going on in your life. And then we can dig deeper. And in the end, I always give you some advice and some thoughts or some direction about what you can do. But if this makes you think like, oh, wow, I really do have a bunch of boxes of photos that I haven't organized, they're not doing anyone any good sitting in boxes. Either give them to the people that they're your children who are now 45 years old, give them to them. Let them organize them. But if you're not going through them, they're just sitting in the garage collecting dust and clogging up your space. Might be time to move on. Piles of stuff equals work. Okay, it is depressing to see nothing but piles and stacks around you because it is a reflection of your life out of control. I know that when I come home and I see these piles of paper, and they're usually like sacks from my kids coming home from school. What do people do with all these papers? I don't want the guilt of throwing it away. But anyway, you have all these piles of things, piles of stuff that should have been, put away from a birthday party or from Halloween now, or from the holiday, or stuff that should have been put away after you went to a workshop or from vacation. Do you have those piles? Because every time you come home and you look at those piles of stuff, you know what you see? You see work. Oh my gosh, that's a pile of work. That's a pile of work for me to do. That's a pile of work for me to do. I can't relax because it's all things that I should be doing. I should be putting all that stuff away. I should be putting all those photos in an album. I should be putting, cleaning all those dishes. I should be, organizing that shelf because I can't find anything on it. I should be paying those bills. All those piles are just work that you should be doing. And you really don't want to be faced with that all the time because you can't ever relax. And if you can't ever relax, then what happens? Increased levels of cortisol. Then what happens with increased levels of cortisol? You gain weight. You can't sleep. Okay, you see where I'm going with this. The container companies make it easier for us to keep a mountain of things we don't like or use anymore. We are just buying more and more containers. There are people who have storage sheds And garage is full of stuff that they don't need or like or want or use anymore. It does not solve the clutter problem. It just shifts it to a different area of your home. Oh my gosh, are you surprised when you move and you're like, wow, I didn't even know I packed this away 20 years ago or 2 months ago or 2 years ago? What is all that stuff in there? Okay. And are you planning to use it one day when you have a bigger house, or when you have a different house, or when you have people over, or when you have your mom move in 20 years from now? What are you planning to do with all that stuff? We have too much stuff that we don't need in our homes and in our lives. There's a whole minimalist movement. And you know what? I didn't even add it in this, and it totally would have made sense. But look up the minimalist movement. Watch a show on tiny houses. Oh my gosh, you want to start really thinking about your stuff? Watch an episode of Tiny Houses. Just go to YouTube, you'll find it. But oh my gosh, that'll really make you think twice and about stuff. And watch a YouTube video about minimalism. Good stuff. Kids and stuff, it's distracting. It's distracting for us, and it's distracting for kids. I found Adrienne's Crazy Life, and her blog talks about some things you can do. You can find tons of blogs that tell you what to do. But remove about 50% of the toy clutter. Oh my gosh, if you're a parent, you know they do not play with at least 50 to 90% of the toys you have in your house. A, because they can't see them. B, because they've outgrown them. C, because they're broken. D, because they're busy playing with the other 10% of the stuff. Figure out what to do. They have no place to do homework, so set up a homework station that isn't distracting with all their stuff. And then try the don't break the chain technique. The don't break the chain technique is really good for any kind of habit you want to form, like whether it's around exercising, eating, or keeping a place clean. You keep a calendar and you put a sticker or an X on every day that you maintain the habit, and you don't want to break the chain. Whether you give yourself 90 days or a year or a week, you don't want to break the chain. So keep putting that X mark or that sticker on each day and don't break the chain. It's been said that we are bombarded with more information in one day than a medieval peasant processed in a year's time. Oh my gosh, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. We are drowning in information and we're starved for knowledge. Most of it comes in the form of paper. Okay, you know it, turn around, there's paper everywhere in your house. It has become so overwhelming that many people pay the document storage industry thousands of dollars a year to babysit boxes that we will never use. Scan it, file it digitally, stay on top of it, throw away or recycle 90% of it, file what matters or digitally take a picture of it. That's what you can do with kids' art projects too. Just take a picture of it and then put it in a binder or put it in a photo book. They don't need to actually feel the paper that it was on. It might even get destroyed or fade over time. All right, here are some solutions for you, okay? So, clutter is stuck energy. The word clutter derives from the Middle English word clotter, which means to coagulate. And that is about as stuck as you can get, my friends. You are clogged up. I'm just making sure my Instagram friends can see that. It is, I can't wait till the day I can look back at this and be like, oh my God, that was so funny when I did all that by myself and it was really bumpy. But you know what? That's okay. I want you to see that bumpy doesn't stop me from actually doing this, because I need this even as much as you need this. And I'm just going to keep doing it, even if it's bumpy. So thanks for showing up and joining me. Okay, back to my show. Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui. This is a really, really popular book by Karen Kingston. She talks about multiple different kinds of energy that is stagnant in your life and how it affects Feng Shui. So Feng Shui is basically the energy in your house. And there are different areas in our house. There's a map of the house where you should have certain kinds of things like water or air or wood or elements, not wanting to put certain things around your fireplace. If you believe it or not, I don't know. I totally believe in it because I believe that everything is energy and intention. So if you went around your house and intentionally said, okay, I'm not going to put photos above a fireplace because I believe that that fire, kind of burns up the family, or I'm going to put a plant in the money corner because that's going to show thriving and life and healthy energy. That's really just intention and energy. It almost doesn't matter if it's true or not, but if you believe it, it's true. Like, it just works that way. It just works that way. So I'm a big fan, big believer. And Karen Kingston talks a lot about the feng shui and the energy of your home and how it is impacted by clutter. Stagnant energies, any kind of clutter, creates an obstacle to the smooth flow of energy around a space. This in turn creates stuckness and or confusion in the lives of the occupants. We know that's true. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel really great, but even just stuck in one area? Because we all feel stuck in something, and it's usually can be seen in the clutter in our house. And by the way, yes, it's awesome to clean out the clutter just in spring or to just do your closet, but you got to do more. You can't just move it from the closet to the spare bedroom. You can't just move it from the kitchen to the garage. You've got to really give everything to this. And I recommend hire an organizer. My sister does this. Even though I know this, I hire my sister to come in because I know that I will get stuck. I'll stop and I'll start looking through all the pictures, or I'll start reading that magazine article that I ripped out and I didn't want to get rid of because I wanted to read it one day. Or I'll stop and look at that pile of recipes and think, oh, maybe I should pick dinner tonight. But my sister is like, keep going. No, you don't need paper plates for 15 different holidays for 15 years. You don't need it all because you're going to buy new ones next year. You need someone to push you a little bit. They're not very expensive, and it is worth it to hire them for a full day or 2 days, depending on where you're at, to just help you. And if you are bored, and look, I'm not even touching on the topic of hoarding, which is really a disease, and it really is real. So if you're having trouble with hoarding, you're going to need extra help, okay? Even just a feng shui book may not be enough to kickstart you, but get help. We all need a little bit of help in something. And, hoarding is something you're holding on to, something that you don't want to let go of. And that's okay. There's no judgment. If you're ready, then let's move on from it and let's get you some help. But if it's not to a hoarding level, then let's start moving through it by hiring someone who can get through it in a day or in a week. This is a very popular book. If you haven't heard of it, you've probably been under a rock, but it's called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, the Japanese art of decluttering and organizing. And her name is Marie Kondo, and it's called the Kondo method, the KondoMari. So she puts her name together, KondoMari. KonMari. Oh my gosh. See, I should have written it on my slide and I would have remembered. The KonMari method. Okay. And it is about tidying up. There are even people who do it and they have been trained in it and they can help you. So it is one of the best things, the biggest tips. If you don't read the book, and I just help you with this one tip, does this item bring you joy? That is life-changing. That is life-changing. You need to go around your house and say, does it bring me joy? And does it bring you, it might be, you might think, well, I need this muffin pan because one day I'm going to make muffins. Someday I might have a friend over that's going to want to make muffins. Does it bring you joy right now to make muffins? If it doesn't, then get rid of them. And if one day you decide you want to make muffins, you can buy the disposable muffin pans, or you can buy a disposable little tin, which is probably 60 cents. So clear out all that stuff and make room for other stuff. All these books behind me, they bring me joy because they tell me that I'm learning something, and they all have some nugget of information. I really love the books I have. but it's not about putting them in a box in a closet or in the garage. It's about displaying them and having them and sharing them and showing them off. And so I have beautiful bookshelves, and I'm going to create another room with more bookshelves as I go forward so that I can display them. But other stuff is really broken things. I really have a hard time getting rid of pieces of puzzles that I don't know where the puzzle is, but I might find it. But it doesn't bring me joy to find toys that are broken or puzzles that are unfinished or things that are broken that one day I should fix. Either put them in a box and say, I'm going to fix them on this date. On July 4th at 4 o'clock, I'm going to spend an hour fixing things. And if you don't do it, you throw them away. Period. It's stagnant. It's sitting there. Why are you hanging on to these things that are broken? Start asking yourself this. Identifying what sparks joy leads to a tidy home filled with items you cherish. It's also a path to self-discovery, mindful living, and fulfillment. You know all of this Happier by the Minute and Happy Huddle, and you can see this is number 30, which means I have 29 of these before this. And you can find them on YouTube. You can go to happierbytheminute.com and you can subscribe to them. They're all free. But all of these are just little nuggets that you can think about that are just going to make you think differently and have some self-awareness. Because when we know better, we do better. In essence, tidying ought to be the act of restoring balance among people, their possessions, and the house they live in. So I got a picture here, and I hope you can see it. I'm going to zoom in for my Instagram people. See that clutter on the left and all of that? Like, there's no way energy can move through that. And then the one to the left, there's nothing on top of the shelves. There's nothing on the counters. Move all that stuff. If you saw that kitchen, doesn't it make you feel like there's stuff to do always? But then when you see the kitchen on the right, you feel like it's clean, it's open, it's ready for you. It's ready for you to make magic in that kitchen, or for someone else to make magic if you're not a great cook like I am. But it's funny. I went through to find a bunch of pictures of before and after. And you know what? I could not find a lot that weren't still cluttered in the after. So this one, can you see that? There's a before and an after. I can't even see what's different. You guys, all they did is move, I think, 3 boxes and maybe throw away 1. I mean, really, that is not decluttering. That is moving it from one space to another and paying a storage company to hang on stuff. Now, there's stuff you need to store that you may not need, like camping things in the winter, but that's okay. It brings you joy. You shouldn't have so much of that stuff, right? You're going to package it away neatly. You're going to put it away when you get home from your camping trip neatly, and it's going to sit there until you're ready to use it again. And it's not going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to put it away. I got to organize it. Anyway, here's another 10 tips, okay? I always want to leave you with something that you can do today to change your life and be happier by the minute. Number 1, this comes from Smead, keeping you organized. So they're probably trying to sell you more boxes, but they did have some good tips. Get off all the mailing lists and cut down on magazine subscriptions. Consider reading magazines online. I'm really bad at this because I'm always buying magazines that I think are going to educate me. Like if I see and I'm not very good about reading magazines. I don't have time, but I stack them up for when I'm on an airplane. But mailing list, by the way, it's also really important to unsubscribe to things you don't want to be on. You can do it safely now. It used to be you weren't sure if you could unsubscribe to your email lists, but I spent a lot of time deleting, and it would be 60% of my mail would be bad emails that I had subscribed to a long time ago. But now I don't want to be on them. I don't want to get an email from J. Crew 3 times a day. So unsubscribe. That will help you stop being distracted. Okay. Stop shopping and start donating. Having less stuff around is a great way to bring order and simplify your space. Just go 1 month without buying anything and then donating. Reduce debt. Get rid of all your credit cards except one. Again, that's a bigger conversation, but think about the debt is clutter. So let's figure out how to undo that clutter too. If you want to get some financial advice for free, follow Dave Ramsey Ramsey. Dave Ramsey got a lot of really great advice on getting out of debt and living without debt. He's absolutely amazing. And that's what my husband coaches on. Limit the amount of TV you watch. Read a book or go for a walk to clear your mind. Big fan of not watching TV, and you know I am an evangelist for not watching news. Think about all that stuff you could be doing with your time that you are wasting watching news. And I know you want to be informed, but I promise you, go a week, you will not miss anything. If anything, you will find yourself less stressed. And if you spent that time you were watching news, uncluttering or decluttering or organizing or throwing stuff out, your life will change. And I want you to email me and tell me. Use up the food you have in your freezer and fridge and pantry before loading up on groceries again. Oh my gosh, I grew up in a house where we had a whole separate refrigerator and a whole separate freezer in addition to the one we had in the kitchen. And all of them were full all the time. And we were always grocery shopping. And then we would go through the freezer like once a year and be like, oh, why do we have 4 boxes of frozen waffles? Okay, really, if you have so much stuff, you don't know what you have. Use the 1 in, 2 out rule for closets. For every new item you buy, donate 2. Ooh, is that one you're going to take away today? Limit your storage space. The less stuff you have, the less you'll have to maintain, organize, and look at. Yeah, don't just keep storing stuff. Don't add storage space to your garage. I promise you, I did that, and then I failed it. And now what do I have? More storage space that I need to clean out all the time. Do a scrub of your social media accounts. Who and what can you stop following? This is a good time to tell you to start following me on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you. Anyway, but find the people and the companies that you really want to follow that really bring you joy and add value and give you tips that you really like. Clean out your attic, your basement, your garage. You'll find things you forgot about or that you no longer use. Again, if you need help to actually get through and finish it, hire somebody. It is worth the money because the money you spend to clear out that clutter, I promise you, will come back to you with the energy, with the flow and the space that you create for that abundance to flow back to you. It will come back to you. I promise you. Look and assess your commitment plate. Are you part of something that no longer interests you? Rethink your commitments and get out of the ones that are not important to you. Do you say yes to things when you shouldn't? Because that is time that you could spend decluttering. All right, I'm coming up on the end of my time here. Clutter really emerges from indecision. And this is my favorite point, so I hope that you stuck with me for this. We haven't taken control. Whoa, who is calling me right in the middle of my show? Clearly, they're not watching. Clutter emerges from indecision. We haven't taken control and decided what is and isn't important to us. Oh my gosh, you guys, how life-changing is that? When we don't make decisions, we end up with clutter in our lives. That is that simple. Why don't you throw it away? Make decisions. Oh, wait, did I go offline here? Oh, I don't know. I can't see it. Let's see what happened. No, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so sorry, you guys. You can watch this. I think it's still going. It's still going. Sorry if you can't see it on Instagram. But yes, you guys, it is on the website or it's on YouTube. But it's on my website, Happier by the Minute. But yes, you can rewatch this. Please go back. There are 29 other ones. There's 30. But this is the big point I want you to go away with. Why aren't you throwing it away? Why are you keeping it? Have some self-awareness and move on. Clutter is nothing more than postponed decisions. Make the decision now. Make it now. Make it this weekend. Don't wait because it is clogging up the abundance that's trying to get to you. Clarify your personal and your specific procrastination pitfalls by writing a list of 20 things you need to do and the decisions you need to make, but you're ignoring, and keep moving forward. Okay, you guys, don't miss a minute of happiness. Subscribe for free at happierbytheminute.com. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. These are little tips to help you have more self-awareness and then what to do when you have that self-awareness. Because when we know better, we do better. All right, people, you know it. And I love you. Thank you for being here. Because you're here, I keep showing up. And I will chat with you next week at 9 a.m. Let's see. Now I got to end all my live things. One day this is going to be really awesome when I have somebody helping me. But right now, this is how we do it. See you later. Bye.